Yo, yo. Can you hear me, OG?
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Well, the intro ain't go like it was supposed to, but it's all good. You heard me? This is P.NUT General. You heard me? And OG BHAKU. And this is Dropping Gems with P.NUT General and OG BHAKU. Good evening, OG. How you doing today? How was your day, man?
I'm doing well. I can't see you.
You can't
Can you
see
see
me?
me? No, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Let me see.
Hmm.
Hold up,
Okay,
you
there we
brother.
go. There we go. There we go.
All right. You can see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
All right, so the topic for today, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, how was your day, OG?
All is well. It was a good one. Good day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're gonna go ahead on and jump straight into it because we're a little late, you know what I'm saying? The topic for today is the youth of the South, you know what I'm saying? And what we mean by the youth of the South is okay, a lot of people blame my generation and the generation above that, which is yours, for how today's generation is and yesterday's generation is. You know what I'm saying? But me and Uji, we have an interesting take on how really no one's to blame but um, I mean, if you we gonna talk about Katrina too, you know what I'm saying? So if you think that it was government made, if you think it was man made, if you think it was nature, if you think it was God, you know what I'm saying? We are going to get into all kind of details on to why you can blame our generations for the younger generations, and we're gonna try to come up with some resolution to reach the youth and really to try to change things and the perspective of how things are both looked at and how things are going. You ready for it, OG?
I'm ready when you're ready.
All right, so you want me to give my perspective first, or you want to give your perspective first, OG?
I can give mine first. As far as the South and what I've experienced on this side in Mobile, um, coming up in the '80s, coming up in the '80s,
Yes, sir.
and those days was looking back over, being the person I am now. I'm a part of the reconstruction of what was being destroyed at the time.
Could you elaborate on the reconstruction, OG?
Well, trying to rebuild what we allowed to take place. I mean, if, for an example, if we were strong enough to reject whatever that was offered to us, and we had a much better unity, my community, we had a much better unity, we could have denied the offer, you know. But in a critical time such as that, when you make a presentation such as that, then everybody reach for it because everybody's in the same predicament. That's
And
why it's so.
let me jump in right quick. When you
Mhm.
say it's such an offer, you are talking about government assistance, food stamps, things of that nature, right, OG?
And other stuff as well, such as all those other things that create crime.
Yes, sir.
The government has a lot to do with that as well.
Hmm.
So to reconstruct what was destroyed was all of the moral value, um, the legacies, the homes, and the mindset. Because before the '80s took place in my community, uh, we could leave our door open
I
all
want you to
night
get
long.
into that, OG. I know we got into it a little bit last week, you heard me, but could you describe some of the major differences, whether small or major, you know what I'm saying, between when you grew up as a child and how these kids these days are growing up, you know what I'm saying, whether it be the principles, whether it be the values, whether it be the dad in the house, you know what I'm saying? What's different, if anything, in your opinion, than the youth? of today and the youth when you was a youth. You heard me, OG?
Well, fortunately, I had, as I said before, heroes that I could look up to that exist in the physical. So, with me being a product of a fatherless child, in the sense of saying my father wasn't there, but for me to turn out like I did, I used that what's supposed to have been a negative and made it a positive. By doing that is because he was there, and I know how it affected me mentally, physically, and emotionally. Till I created some balance amongst myself. Um, I mean, I figured to be a better man and be there for mine, so I wouldn't be absent, knowing what it would do to them.
Can
And
I
every
ask you
man,
something? Can I ask
yes,
you something, OG? This
yes,
is a personal question. You said it affected you mentally in other ways, right? Could you get
right.
into how not having your father present, um, could you get into in detail, if you would, how that affected you?
Well, I can give an example, and if anybody tunes in, they'll kind of feel where I'm coming from.
Mhm.
If another child is speaking of his father, and he giving you um, cut information, I mean, he telling you downright how it is, and what he's sharing with you is his love for his father and his collaboration with his father. And I had experience where um, either I make up one or thankful for having imagination to use that imagination to tell a story. Wasn't true, but it was a fascinating story at the time because I had to have some to counter his story. Now I
And
had created it.
I
Huh?
could agree with you, OG, because I could keep it real. I wasn't jealous, but I did used to envy my friends who did have their mama and their daddy in their household. You know what I'm saying? It's a different thing from jealousy or hating than to, wanting that in your own household. You know what I'm saying? So I could keep it real and say that I too, I didn't never make anything up because people knew that, it was just my mama. But I did envy my friends that did have both parents in the house. You heard me, OG?
Right, right. And what saved me, like I said before, many kids don't have this. That's why I choose to be a hero, or I choose to be an image that they can look at and it'll be appealing to them. I have something going on about myself unique so it can be attractive to the young minds because
And
I had that before me that saved me. That's why I'm talented because I hung with the bricklayer. I had a time to hang with the carpenter, with the painter, and I sat amongst them and learned everything on the ins and the outs. I go back and play around with it till I master it. You see,
Mhm,
so with that being said, a lot of kids don't have that. So we got to recreate these images that they can be proud of, or heroes, I would call them. You know, man, listen, when I look back over my life and I selected some heroes that nobody talks about,
mhm,
and this the history that has been smothered for many years now is surfacing
mhm,
because what have motivated me just knowing of these individuals who exist that carry this kind of power and look
mhm,
like me.
mhm.
This
So
is
let me ask
where,
you,
go
let,
ahead, I'm
let me ask
sorry.
you this, I'm sorry. Let me ask you this,
Mhm,
you
mhm,
to qualificate. I knew obviously Marcus Garvey, you know what I'm saying? Malcolm X, you speak of them highly, you speak of them often, right? What are
right.
some qualifications that make somebody a hero to you? And what are some of your other heroes that you looked up to and modeled yourself after when you was young? You heard me, OG?
Well, all of my uncles, man, all of my uncles, like I said, um, when I said 360 degrees, I truly mean that. And not just because it's a Masonic code, is an order when one reaches a certain peak of maturity, but I've been amongst people from all walks of life, uncles is my inspiration, and other people in the days that I was coming up amongst, I had heroes, man. I had people I could look up to. Everybody in the community, those who knew I was going to be what I am today. They, uh, they, they. Not only did they add to that, and I'm running into some of their grandkids. So that's the
Mhm.
harvest. That's the harvest that they're reaping. I'm running into some of their grandkids to inspire them at this very hour. You know, um, it was said to me once before when I was young that I was a proper child. So I
What's
can
that?
take that. When they said proper, I don't understand. I can understand now what they meant when they said proper. When they said proper, I think they was talking in terms of one who would find his place in life through learning and living life and reach that peak of maturity. Now I understand enough about life. I can take somebody some places. I can help them get out of conditions. Um, uh, I'm one of the ones who would be hard to find, but when you find me, you found something worth finding. I got an answer, and this is no lie, an answer to every question and a solution to every problem. Why would I boast in that? Because I know some people that don't exist in the flesh, I can go sit down and talk with
Mm.
before I have to disturb a God above a cloud, not knocking it, but I very seldom have to call on it.
Can I ask you something? You always say it's especially these 3 or 4 weeks, you know what I'm saying, that the show has been going on. If we tap into our ancestors, if we, if we wake up, if we do this, if we do that, right? If you could explain and if you would explain, you heard me, how do we do that? You know what I'm saying? You always speak about, you're not going to pray to somebody in the clouds. You know what I'm saying? You're going to pray to, your uncle, your grandfather, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? What does society, us, need to do to be in touch with our ancestors like you are? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean by when you say we 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 need to we have powers that we don't know, that we don't use, and how exactly do we tap in with our ancestors? If you could tell us.
Well, um, first of all, to try and be brief and elaborate on the fact that it's something. Once that stirs your curiosity, then you start seeking and desiring to have this knowledge, because this knowledge or this information or the avenue that I can put you on, using a preacher for an example. Now, his conversation he may be having with his father, I'm not sure what that conversation is,
Mhm.
but I didn't take the God from him above a cloud. I explained to him that look at it as if though you have another resource. Just in case you call on this one and he's not there today, then you can call on this individual. You see, but this individual, which is your grandfather or which is your father, we know he exists, can prove he exists, can validate it. That other entity, there's no proof to validate it. And um,
Well, would you say there's no proof to validate him? I
no,
see in this information age, right? If you
right?
looking um, if you were looking for evidence that he exists, you're gonna find a shitload of it. If you looking for evidence that he don't exist, you're gonna find a shitload of it. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's on the type of mind frame and the type of time you on looking for that information. You say that it's none information that could be physically proven. Um, would you not take the Bible as a credible source? And why do you say that it can't be physically proved?
Well, the people who are masterminders of creating illusions for those who can't see between all of that. For an example,
Hmm.
there's a Malcolm X Boulevard just about everywhere, right?
Yes, sir.
There's a Martin Luther King Boulevard just about everywhere.
Absolutely.
Now, we know a name that's supposed to be above theirs. We call on that name, we put emphasis on that name, but its name is nowhere on no street, nowhere in the world. I stand for correction if I'm wrong.
No,
Jesus, Jesus. Now, what proof am I putting into effect here? Why is this name is nowhere? They can't prove it. They know they can't prove it. They know they ain't finna try to make this the truth when they know this. Because when it's unfolded one day, they don't want to be held accountable.
hmm,
Now, do your research when you got time. There's no
absolutely.
Jesus Christ Boulevard nowhere in the world. No street nowhere. No sign nowhere
That's a fact.
illustrating the street
That's a fact.
because
That's
it's
a fact.
non-existence. What's relevant? Malcolm relevant. Martin Luther King relevant. Sheikh Anta Diop relevant. Akhenaten, these are relevant people. Now I'll prove something else to you.
Talk to me.
When you go in the courtroom, or if we went in there to prove the two difference of saying that there is a heaven and if I say that there wasn't one,
Okay.
you know what the judge gonna tell us?
What's that?
Until either one of us come up with proof. Now he ain't gonna use the Bible because that ain't gonna be proof.
Why wouldn't
He's
that be
going,
proof, G?
well, because the evidence of making something exist that don't exist, the Bible don't speaks of that. Go back and you'll see it's just an illusion. It's just a fairy tale story. Listen to what I'm finna tell you.
Yes, sir.
Now, if if that kind of power was sitting above a throne on a cloud or on a throne above the cloud with that kind of power, why would he allow the European people to treat a people the way they've been treating them for years? And today, not just us as a people of color, it's a lot
Yeah.
of people suffering under the authority and power of one dictator. Every 4 years, we get a new dictator. We get a new person in power, whether it be a Democrat or the Republican. Don't make a difference.
So, all right, let me
But
cut you off
but
one more time, right? I just before we got on, I just was having this conversation with another friend, right? And I told him that when them people talking, such as the presidents and things like that, I don't really think they talking to us. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, no matter who was in office or not in office, whether it been the red or the blue, this side, that side, whether I voted or didn't vote, nothing happened in my life just off of a vote. Now I don't take nothing away from the people like Marcus Garvey, the people like Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? The people like Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying? That back then they was getting things turned, right? But now I feel as though we have all our rights, you know what I'm saying? Do we get them and do are they respected? Hell no, but at the same time, it's not like it was back in the G. You see what I'm saying? So I say that to say, you know what I'm saying? What does that have to do with the other? Because I said, okay, wait, I said it. I said, I said, I said, damn, my mind went blank. Oh, gee. So finish what you were saying, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a remember it. You heard me, but you
okay,
was,
okay, okay.
but
Well,
you,
let me share some with the people so they'll understand. I
Yes,
agree
sir.
with what you're saying. We're not nowhere near the situation we once was.
Okay.
But the game haven't changed. They modified it,
Right.
upgraded it.
Okay.
Still slavery, modified.
Okay, that's what I
Now,
was saying. That's what I
okay.
was saying, OJ.
Mhm.
Um, the presidents and everything, the things that they speak of, the things that they talk about, the things that they push for, right? That don't got nothing to do with the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, and I ask my mama this every time, you know what I'm saying? Because I only voted one time in my life, and that was for Obama. You see what I'm saying? Nothing happened, nothing changed. So I asked my mama, you know what I'm saying? Because she always get on my ass about that. I'm like, well, what changed in your life, off of a sole single vote, you heard me, that you didn't put your own hustle into. You see what I'm saying? She couldn't answer the question, you heard me. So I don't think them people talking to us, OG. Like we don't see the benefit or the pros or the cons really of a president, a good president or a bad president, cause it's just like it was for us like 10, 15 years ago, the same thing today, you know what I'm saying? It's like we make a change ourselves, but ain't no president never done nothing for us um, not recently. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the G when the struggle was real, when we was fighting for our rights and when we was all together, yeah, we had to push to get shit done. Now I think that everything is done, you know what I'm saying? The unity gone. And I don't even think that them people talking to us when they be talking about what they talking about, talking to who they talking to. I really don't think they're not talking to us. You know what I'm saying? So that shit don't matter to us either way it goes. You heard me?
I agree. Um, I'm against voting, and it stirred up a lot of people. I ain't never seen, as you said, no progress. I hate to go and participate in something and feel like my participation didn't count. So rather than participate and be disappointed, I just back off and let those continue to do what they're doing, uh, and try to help those and enlighten those to understand. Let me say this for an example. I know you on the South Side as well as I am,
Yes,
but
sir.
every president that wins the election, they never have to count the South votes. Never have to count the votes in the South. So your vote really don't matter.
Wait,
You in the
wait,
deep
wait,
South.
wait, 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 OG. Could you say that again and explain it?
He when the president wins, he got enough votes in them northern states and other states other than the South. He can go on and claim his election and never have to count the South.
The key states they be talking about.
You can go back and do your research. When they win, they don't win based on counting the South votes, period. Before they count the South, they've already got enough votes elsewhere to win.
So let me ask you something, right? Because I don't really understand it, right? It's
Okay?
something called the public vote and the electoral vote, right?
That's it. You
That's
said it.
that's that's what they say that really determines who the president is going to be. The electoral vote. What is the electoral vote?
Well, it's a selected people that really they pay the piper. They controls everything. So the bottom line is your vote, and listen to me carefully, not just your vote, the
Mhm.
mother votes, they don't count either. Who these people who controls the economics and try to make things a one world government, they run things. You got five families that pretty much control things. You got five families that can make one phone call if they ain't pleased with you or you ain't playing by the rules. That's
That's what
heavy.
happened in City, right?
Exactly. So you said something just a minute ago make a lot of sense.
Hmm.
We have never been included in the plan. Never been included then nor now. But what we don't know, what we haven't understood,
Hmm.
and it's been done all around us.
Hmm.
If they wasn't touching our Spanish brother and trying to take him back to what they call his homeland, which they understand is already his, just as well
Mhm.
as it's ours. But the point I want to make, um, you know, see, what it is, and let me jump subjects here. I'm on the
Great.
same subject, but I'm gonna jump to another political part of it.
What do you think?
They switched the power from one to the other. Just like you might see a chain of service stations, you might see a chain of Circle K's, and they'll go out for so many years.
Hmm.
Then they'll come back. Now, not only they coming back, and your
But
child just not seeing it as if though it's something new, and you tell them no, that's old. But what it is a swap. Give this family some time, the all family to generate money. That's
yeah,
the share.
hey,
The gag to the game is we hadn't figured it out. That Spanish brother can come together, that Chinese brother can come together, Japanese brother can come together, a lot of them other brothers can come together, and they can make it. They disrupted our unity. Now it's hard for us to come together because who could we trust now?
so let me ask you this, OG. Like I said, and we both agreed on it's not like it was. You see what I'm saying? It's we got way more freedom, we got way more free will, we got way more rights, right? Do we still look to what happened yesterday, even though it is going on in the school system, in the legal system, you know what I'm saying, in the justice system, right? But do we still look to what went on and what happened in yesterday and blame that on what's going on today? Isn't that kind of like a cop out, you heard me?
Well, the only thing that concerns me, the only thing that allows me to continue to make the generation that's coming up understand where they come from or where we come from, so they can understand the vibration. Because, for an example, all of my kids are revolutionaries. Why are they
Okay,
revolutionaries? They're revolutionaries because the vibration that produced them, the DNA that produced them. You see? Now, what has happened to us mentally, our system been weakened. And the leaders, every time one raise up, like myself or you coming along to stabilize, once they understand you finna stabilize the mental state of your people, once they understand you're trying to get them out of the condition they're in, because if you can relieve the stress level, then it might be able to help you think.
they cancel Christmas.
You see? So I mean, we got a lot of work to do, man.
So
And
speaking of that word, OG, right? I
mhm,
know a lot of elders, you know what I'm saying? I hang around a lot of people older than me, right? They
right.
say one of the main problems is the youth don't fear God no more. You know what I'm saying? We had those grandmas, great grandmas, nanas, however you have it. We didn't have no choice. We was getting up church, you know what I'm saying, every Sunday. We had to go this that, and the other. But your view of the Most High is different, right? So, what do you think about those sentiments that people say that children don't fear God, their parents walking away from the church, so they don't require their children to go to church, or they give their children their free will to believe or not to believe. A lot of other elders say that's one of the main problems. What's your opinions on that?
Well, it can be augmentative in a nice way on many levels. My perspective is, for an example, as I was sharing with you the other day, um, when you are sincere about what you do, so you write a song. I don't write music, but I preach so well I got paid for it. Now, was that an emotional thing? Was I just touching your ego at the moment, or did I say the right thing, or and knowing how to do that? what do you call that? You call that a scheme, or that's skills or talent. You see, the young generation losing confidence in what grandmama had confidence in, because, for an example, let me share this with you, and this can be a lopsided situation, because you hear one lady, just say two people in the car, two people was in a car crash together. One died, one lived. Now, being a counselor, this is a situation I be in. One mad at God, and the other one saying, "Ain't God good?" Think
Mm,
about that. Now, that's a conflict of interest of a situation. One
yeah,
saying, "Ain't God good?" and the other one kind of trying to understand why he wasn't good to me.
different path.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, the point I want to make, both got confidence in the same source of power. One got to accept somewhat of whatever one said, it was just his time. One got to accept
Mhm.
that, and the other one got to accept the fact that maybe she a chosen one. Now, this is something that me being a counselor have to deal with people, because it's going to always be in the back of their mind. Because one got his and the other one don't have theirs. So it's a problem. And
Different paths though, OG, right? Your path is your path. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's walking your path. Nobody's responsible for your sins.
well,
Nobody can.
the complication is, they trying to figure out, well, it ain't about that at that particular time. If you put yourself in their shoes, they trying to figure out, one saying, why me? One trying to, and but that's a situation to where who is responsible. So now she got to have and I never experienced it, but I'm going by being a counselor, listening to somebody's story,
Mhm.
understanding now she got to live with this trauma all her life. Now it's a different path, but then now over here. But is that fair? Or is that there's no fairness? Now listen, that's how people sometimes lose confidence.
Mhm.
Yep, these young folks, they're losing confidence in a lot of things, not just God above a cloud. They're losing confidence in the system. They're losing confidence in the elders, because these other elders, somewhat supposed to be true OGs, ain't what they are. You see? So
Mhm.
they losing confidence because the people that they're supposed to have confidence in, that's before them, ain't carrying the power like they're supposed to, ain't doing what they're supposed to. Because I'll be honest with you, if you got what you need, you can deviate any violence if you got what you need. And a lot of us don't have it. So I ain't pointing the finger at them, but I'm
What,
staying
what,
true to the
what you mean by
system.
that, OG? What you mean by that? You could deviate any violence if we have what we need.
If like I say to the mayor
Mhm.
and the governor, and not only just the governor, but let me stick with the mayor and the council of my district. I,
Mhm.
I, 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 I was point blank. If you want to stop the violence, come see me. I got a solution. But I said, bring tons of that piece of paper with that other man's face on it. I solved the problem.
Mhm.
So ain't no need of me huffing and puffing. I'm just one row on the total pole, but I'm still saying, hey, this is what I need. I know what I can do. I got a solution for us. I don't know about them, but for us, I got a solution. I can stop the violence. My brothers, they just want some stability, man. Across the board. But they want to be able to relate to somebody who really concerned about their welfare, their mental state, and they want to know that I'm genuine. But I got to have more than offer them just a conversation. I got to show them that dreams do come true. And I got to be able to cipher understand that this is desire. And I can take each one of them and dig deep into his inner chamber, find out what he's able to do, put him in business, give him some license, and put him in business. I promise you, he'll never cause another problem in society. We got to
So,
put me, I got to be able to
mhm.
put him in a position, not mean to cut y'all. I got to put
Go
him in a
ahead, go ahead.
position. I got
Mhm.
to put him in a position. I got to find out what he's capable one by one. Put him in a position. I got to put him in a position to fail once or twice, and the system that's setting him up will bag him up. You see? Now he out in society with a little confidence, a little assurance, because he got something to fall back on. A lot of us fail and don't understand failure is more of a fact of life because you don't have the determination to get up and keep on going. Huh? Every time I fall, I'm gonna get up and keep on going. Now I'll tell you what I may do. I may stop and get just a little rest, but I ain't quit.
You hear
Huh?
me? You hear me? So
Right,
when you say the youth, you know what I'm saying, they've lost their confidence in the OGs, and they lost, its fake OGs, you know what I'm saying? And I agree with that, right? But do you think that my generation and the generation right before mine, and this is only for the South, right? Do you think we properly had a chance to be a OG due to Katrina? You know what I'm saying? Because if you really look at it, you know what I'm saying, them little dudes ain't come up under us like we came up under y'all. You know what I'm saying? Them little dudes ain't get to study just like we studied y'all. Them little dudes ain't get to get our advice. Them little dudes ain't get to, I'm saying, bump our head in front y'all and y'all, I'm saying, pull it to the side like, nah, look, when that ain't how you do it. You gonna be out here like this, you gonna do it like this, or what I'm saying? That's the two places you end up dead in jail. You see what I'm saying? When Katrina came, you heard me, everybody was dispersed, everybody was all over the world, you know what I'm saying? And like we were talking about with the single mothers, I'm gonna say like probably 80% of the young men, you heard me, and the young ladies was raised in a single household, you heard me. So as they growing up in the ways of discipline no longer are ways of discipline, such as the belts, you know what I'm saying, such as the hitting and things. Because when you get older, you balance your pain grows, you know what I'm saying? So once mama can't discipline you is wild magnolia, you know what I'm saying? So when them dudes came back here and came back to the south from where they was, they had kind of raised themselves, you heard me? And it's like you say, you heard me, the faithful G's and the faith, like them dudes had to snip that out, you heard me, and then handle that, you know what I'm saying? So them dudes came back already feeling like they was grown men and they ain't had nothing to study, learn, or pay attention to, you know what I'm saying? So that's like kind of the disadvantage that I think we had, you heard me, and it's not spoke on more because we didn't raise these generations of kids. They really literally raised themselves, you know what I'm saying? That's what I think, you heard me. And it's like I could only speak for the kids in the South due to Katrina. But they was dispersed all there everywhere. And I could speak for the kids in New Orleans, you heard me, like, no disrespect, but everywhere we go, like we thanking everybody fake. You heard me? So like it take a strong person with a strong backbone for a young man from New Orleans to gravitate to. And I don't see him gravitating to no other out of town. You heard me? Especially when things how it was when it was back in 2005. You did. I feel like
right.
them dudes raised themselves, and I feel like we can't tell them nothing because we wasn't there during the struggle. You know what I'm saying? We was like absent fathers. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't there when they needed advice or when they bumped their head or when they, you know what I'm saying? If we was there, some shit would have went different. So like they grown now, so why listen now? You know what I'm saying? When they didn't already read they stove, you heard me?
Got a point there, and to speak on that subject concerning Mobile, or Trinity Gardens from where I'm from. Um, when after the drugs had did their damage back in the 80s. These are the generations today that it's hard for me to reach because the point you just made, their parents went to jail, majority of them, either the father or the mother. But when you pull one out the home or you pull both out the home, then you leave grandmama to do a job that she wasn't planning on doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong, grandmother stepped in, but that wasn't the ultimate plan. Grandmother was supposed to enjoy her life. You were supposed to take care of yours, not go to jail. But hypothetically speaking, that took place. So now you got a child, like you said, a little child running wild. Now that's somebody's energy that's locked up in prison. Now they don't know how to channel their energy to control their energy because you can do it from wherever. Don't make a difference. Just like you send telepathic energies. You understand? Before we had telegrams or telephone, our people knew how to send telepathic energy. That's where telephone and all that other stuff come from. And now, but
So let me ask you this, OG, right?
mhm,
Some
mhm.
people say that's fact, some people say that's myth. You know what I'm saying? Some people say that, you know, fairy tales, other people say it's set in stone, right? Um, the Bible is somebody would call a very reliable source, right? These things that you mentioned that we are capable of and we're using back in the Jeep, right? Um, where does your source for that come from? You know what I'm saying? How do you know these things? I know you've read the Ethiopian Bible, you know what I'm saying? If that's the source, you know, like, how do you know these things, what we capable of, and what we need to gain back?
Okay. If you go and start studying, maybe Sheikh into Diab or Akhenaten or Imhotep.
Wait. Could you say that one more time, would you?
These are people that have came before us. Let me share this with you. You
Okay.
remember the passage of scripture, and this is why I don't denounce the Bible because now I know where it derived from. I know that them our stories, they've been rehashed, so I'm not offended by it. I just said it's not all of God's words, if any at all, because I can write a book, you can write a book. I can make up a story right now, and hypothetically speaking, how would you know whether that story true or false? It don't matter, but if that story affects you, if that story move you, that's why we rap like we do off the dome, or we write like we do, or we write poems like we do off the dome. That's our ability. In the time of crisis, we can make up a song that'll get us further along. You understand? Those are the people we derive from. Take that djembe, that drum. You beat that drum, boom, 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 and just listen to that boom, boom, and that boom, boom. Now, in my mind, the way I do at times, that's how I connect with the ancestors. Sharing this with you. I get my djembe and I beat my djembe because that's what my people did. I'm indigenous, Cherokee. So what
Aren't all
northern
black people indigenous, OG?
well, not all, but there was some already here, some migrated. But I mean, we all different in many ways from geographics, just different because we was raised in different locations. Yeah, so we all, but that don't make us all the same. You see, origins and regions make us different. Borders make us different. Now, we understand history, and if you study correctly, uh, the origin, but people being here and indigenous to the land, only somebody ain't indigenous to the land is the European people. So yeah, you got a point. All this belongs to us. That's why I was saying something about the Spanish brother. I lost you there, my brother.
Yo, yo, yo. Yo, my bad, y'all. My phone overheated, you heard me? Can you hear me, OG?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all right, the phone overheated. We back. My bad, you heard me?
Okay, okay.
So the last thing I heard was I was under the impression that all black people were indigenous people, you know what I'm saying? But you say that's not true.
Well, let me stand for correction.
Okay,
All of us are indigenous, other than those who came over from, which is, in a sense, connected. So you got the confusion, and the confusion is, um, and you want to have this stuff together because you don't want to call nobody out of the name. You want to address people properly. And the only reason I'm saying what I know I am because my grandmother says this is what I am. So
sir.
you can't you can't trace where you come from or your origin. It kind of you don't begin to progress or start prospering, or you don't establish that frequency that you need. So when you go around people, they'll feel you. They'll know who you are if they don't know. My point I'm making is my thought that I caught on to when we got this unintentional break
Mhm.
is the young people, while it's on my mind, the young people, if you notice, the most I talk to, they starting to believe in their own capability.
It's a
I
fact.
don't push I don't push a religion off on them. What I do tell them that America have so many to offer us, just pick one. I cipher through it because I've studied many and I found good in all of them. You see.
So can I let me ask you something, right?
Hmm.
And I'm old enough to kind of pinpoint a timeline, right? The things you speak of, in my opinion, right? Like you said, the people walking away from the truth, the people losing belief in God, the people turning away from God, right? I would think that when all of that started and then carried on, that's when things got worse. That's my opinion. Because from New Orleans, from being from a New Orleans standpoint, shit been fucked up. But now, you know what I'm saying? Things is just like, like like it's crazy now. Even if you're from the craziest hood and the craziest city, you see what I'm saying? Like it's crazy from the government to what's going on in Jamaica, to the tariffs, to the wars. It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's all kind of ball advisories on the water. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you heard about that monkey bullshit that happened yesterday with the monkeys they got out. You know what I'm saying? And they had the diseases, they had the you heard me. And then they got they had the shot thing. I can't really say it on here for the other disease. And it's like the government throwing out diseases like mixtapes. You see what I'm saying? So things are real crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like to me, that's just my opinion that all the it took a turn for the worse. Not really violence because it's been violent, but like the whole world fucking up when everybody started turning away from God. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? What you think about them settlements? OG?
Well, what every plan they plot up against us always backfires.
Mhm.
And here here's the thing you can look at too.
Okay.
In the time frame, me being 55, and
Mhm.
the youth that came after me. When I talk with them, I try and share some things with them that they didn't get a chance to see, like leaving the doors open,
Mhm.
going, running errands for the elder, sitting at the feet of the elder, gaining knowledge.
Mhm.
They missed that because while it was ending for me to get it, it was got fast for their parents, who was my age or maybe a little over. They got caught up in that system during the 80s. They drifted off to prison. Mom got to raise them, and each child I know that grandma had to raise is the one today uh, won't follow the order that I would give them. You understand?
Mhm.
Because it's too much positive stuff that has to be done. Now, I want to share this with you too. Uh, a lot of the young people chose another path. They chose the circle to have love for each other. And because that love is not there, whether it be the red or the blue, that love is in that circle now. It's not even in the home because mama in prison. So now you rely on that family that's in the street, you see. So now the OGs who would reach out to him can't really reach him because if you can't really deliver it, if you can't set him free, then you're wasting his time. He'll be better off with his crowd as with his group or with his people. But now here's the thing.
Okay.
Even those organizations, and I tell people all the time, if I'm gonna join something, I don't care what it is, it's gonna have a benefit for me. It's gonna have
Yes,
something better
sir.
than it's gonna have something better than the 401k.
I
You
heard
understand?
that.
You understand what I'm saying?
Good.
Oh, I ain't
Yes,
wasting
good.
my time with it. I had a man the other day ask me, said, man, why you don't come around to the spot? And, I said, what y'all be talking about? The game and all. I said, see, I'm not on that level. I'm
Thank
sorry, brother, but that ain't what I'm discussing. That's not what my mental state is. You know,
thank
I mean, you watching millionaires run up and down the field,
Right.
whether they kicking the
Multi-millionaire.
ball.
Mhm.
So for poor people to sit there and watch them, you think I got time to watch them?
Mhm.
Who should keep an eye on them is the people who paying now. So I'm
Mhm.
not gonna watch that. So basically, what I was trying to tell them, uh, you know, I mean, the way I think now is not like you know, that man, if man, you can't talk about putting 50 cents together to make $1, then I don't think the conversation need to be here. Or
Mhm.
we ain't talking about this kind of conversation to try and make things around us better. Iron sharpen this iron. This discussion here, man, this does something for the development and the growth for the both of us and those who tune in.
You know
You see?
what? You know what? You know what I just thought of, and not to cut you off,
Yeah.
OG.
Mhm.
YouTube is the university, right? It's a four-step college, it's a one-day college, 4-year college, whatever, right? The internet is a never-ending source of information, right? And this is probably the reason that we leaned on y'all so much, right? When we was coming up, I'm 40. You heard me? I was born in '85. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, we didn't have all this shit. You see what I'm saying? We like y'all had the we had to lean on you. You see what I'm saying?
right,
Like it ain't no secret. Like, you know what I'm saying? My daddy was in and out of my life when I was young. You know what I'm saying? So we was looking for that male role model. You know what I'm saying? We was
that's
looking
right,
for that. I'm not even gonna say that father figure, you know what I'm saying? But we just knew, I guess we knew how shit was supposed to be, and it wasn't like that, you know what I'm saying? So
right,
it's like when the females go to looking for love in the wrong places, niggas do that too. As men, we do that too. You see what I'm saying? But my the point I'm trying to make is, you heard me, like times change, you know what I'm saying? People adapt, and the person, places and things that people are around, they change, right? It's nothing you can do into these youngsters, right? Get our age, go through what we went to. Um, Most of them ain't never done no real time. You heard me? Most of them 14, 15 years old can't even phantom 30, 40 years in jail because they never been here 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's the internet. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, you can look up anything, not even on Google, not even on YouTube. It's Wikipedia. It's all kind of apps. It's all kind of everything that if you want to know something, you can find it out yourself. Our
that's right,
generation back in the 80s and we was raised in the 90s, all our information came from y'all. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Even
right,
though our mama could have said the same thing, but coming from an OG, even the same way, worded it the same tone and everything, you heard me? But coming from an OG is just the realest thing that a nigga never ever heard, you heard me? So it's like when you don't when you took that need and that want to learn what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? That need and that want to observe you, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that you did what I did and doing at a better pace, you know what I'm saying, at a time before me and can help me and guide me along the way. Niggas got YouTube for that now. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Niggas got Google for that now. You heard me? So I think that, that I just thought of that. I think that that's a major barrier between the generations, especially like the real OGs that just come home. They don't even know how to use these new phones. You know what I'm saying? They scared of them. You heard me? They still thinking about, you know what I'm saying, phone taps and keywords and when they start listening and things like that. So I think that that's a major rift too that's not brought up enough between the older generation and the younger generation. You heard me? They more technology savvy and could get information at a faster rate, at a faster pace than we ever could. You know what I'm saying? And shit, if you could do it by yourself, what you need another nigga for? You heard me?
right, right. Well, and that's another thing. Since you said that and concluded to that, uh, that's another problem we have. We try to do things by ourselves, you know, and it poses a problem sometimes when, just say your neighbor. Now I
Mhm.
don't know what your neighbor might be doing. He might have a 9 to 5, but s- sometimes the way I look at
Depending
it,
on what
because
side you're talking about, the left or the right.
right, yeah, and where I come up, you try, and if you involve into any activity, you want to make sure your neighbor on the right or left is okay. Maybe them around you. So you become that person uh, that they can rely on because you make yourself available for them. You want to make sure they grow too. You know, or go out of the woods so won't nobody see really what's going on. Um, my thing is, if most people that work with me, and I'll tell them this all the time: if you ain't prospering or you ain't gonna grow with me, then I don't need you working with me. So uh, my theory is we be going somewhere together. You can't go by yourself. It's impossible. You make an attempt to do so and exalt yourself when we come together, and that's our problem. We ain't showing that we can work together. We ain't showing that two men can sit down, both of them carrying the same weight, the same power, both of them carrying all of the same forces, but one choose to let the other lead despite of. Two leaders, but we're gonna choose one. As long as this leader's in a position to be concerned about my welfare, my well-being, so let him lead. Our
Mm,
equal starvation to be out front, and the schooling system with that flip-flop of time span in between uh, the 80s, and then all the kids that were produced from the 80s came around in the 90s.
okay.
Those are the ones, you understand, came after us. Those are the ones that you got to be careful with how you approach today, because you don't never know. You know he already had a crisis, but you'll never
Mm,
know what he's experiencing today. You'll never know what he's going through or what his mind thinks, because his mind running full speed ahead.
mm.
Sleep deprivation, they had no sleep,
That's a fact. That's a fact.
dehydrated, brain ain't functioning properly.
Yes, sir.
You see, he trying to
Yes, sir.
figure out, and then it get dark, and when it get dark, now he got to try to. The closer it get dark, it get more frustrating, because now he can't do what he want to do in the daytime. Night and fall, he got to shut down, and still ain't met his quota.
Mm,
See,
fact.
um, this is what I'm trying to tell the councilman of my district. I need that money because I got to get my people out some conditions. I got to show them. This the only way I can show them. It's sad that I got to, but because of the system that you brought them through systematically, I got to try to cycle to it, get them to a state of mind where I can then deal with the mind. Because right now it's unstable. Right now it'd be hard to convince a man about anything. And I'll tell you something
I'm listening.
with this technology now. See, some young folks are questioning the fact that he's the God above a cloud, because some young folks saying he never did nothing for me. That was some young folks are saying I'm still going through. I'm suffering on the streets, and they've been praying and praying and praying and praying and didn't have. Now, what's your question for him?
Mm.
How you solve his problem? Would you tell him to continue to pray?
I mean,
Say,
sometimes, to be honest with you, OG, sometimes
no.
that's what you gotta do. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
every time a Christ come
Mm-hmm.
to set us free, they
Mm-hmm.
deal with him. They deal with him. Now, how you set your people free? And when you go in to set them free, then they're gonna demonize it. But you can't set a man free totally just with a little word to time over until the dawn. He know morning gonna come. He need more than that. Shit, anybody can get a little bread and get full tonight. If you go to sleep, tomorrow come, he gonna be hungry again at some point. So would you rather feed him just for the day? Or you want to set him up where if he live tomorrow, he'll be able to eat too. And if he know that it's possible to eat tomorrow, chances are, then he'll be less stressed when he go to sleep tonight. Now, I said already said, it's so much work, man, that's got to be done because of what the system done to that generation. My theory is, this is my theory, because I can't reach many of them. Then I said to the future generation, I said to all of the mothers, if you become with child, whether it be a one night stand, however, if you become with child and you want to have him, then you can lend him to this institution. And we'll make sure.
OG,
Uh,
not to cut you
uh-huh.
off, but I got two more questions for you, right?
Okay, okay,
Okay, because my phone keep heating up. I don't know what's going on, man. But look, they say history repeats itself, right, OG? They say
right.
that we always go back to the times of the past, whether it be fashion, way of thinking, or way of life, correct? Um, do you think that the youth and the world is so far gone that we'll ever get back to how we was as a people when we fought for all this that we have now and we kind of like wasting it, you heard me? Or do you think that, you know what I'm saying, it's just gonna be like history, it's gonna repeat itself and you know what I'm saying, we're gonna go back to, you know, like the fashion or you know what I'm saying, way of life, way of mind thing, like we're gonna go back to the ways of the past. Do you think that we so far gone and the times and like we kind of spoiled these days, you know what I'm saying? We think that we so far gone, or you think we could get back to where we was when we was fighting for the shit that we have now?
Yeah, it's not hard to get back on course. We just need some people to come along and rally the people together, not for no march, as in the past, but we need to rally the
You
people
think it's
together.
that easy, OG? Because I'm
Say that
still out
again?
here, OG. You know what I'm saying? I'm still out here. I still be, you know what I'm saying, in the midst, right?
Right.
Like I ain't, not, and I love my niggas, I love my brothers, and most of the time I mind my business, right? But with the mind frame that I see and I'm around and I deal with every day, I don't see it here, OG. And I don't want to be negative. You heard me? I don't want to be, I'm not trying to like make my city seem like it's rough, rough, rough. I'm not doing none of that at all. You heard me? I humbly say that I really don't see that happening here. You heard me? Respectfully, you know what I'm saying? I really
Okay.
don't see that happening here.
Let me tell you what's got to happen. And I come to the same conclusion. That's why I say I'm not trying to reach that one that already exists. If if
Hmm.
if if my energy draw him, then I
Hmm.
work with him. But I'm not out there reaching him. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm asking for. I'm
Okay,
asking for those that are coming out the womb. So I'm saying to the young sisters who with child, who got a young son that ain't in the street, you can bring him to the institution. I promise you, just like Greer Simmons, I guarantee you. So those who came up in the 80s, those who are running wild, ain't nothing I can do for them, my brother. I said, I won't let them be because I told a parent this other day, what she don't understand about the streets have a different set of rules than you may have at home.
that's a fact. But all
Okay.
right, but Olivia, you spoke about being fair earlier. You know what I'm saying? Is
Right.
that fair to give? Because my mama tell me all the time, and I don't mean to put out there like that, but if you want to change this and you want to change that, you got to change who you be around. And ooh, man, my mama knew I done been through a whole lot with these. You see what I'm saying? Like I can't just because I matured or got my mind right. I still feel like I'm turning my back on them dudes. You see what I'm saying?
No, I think, I agree with you. You when you understand your path, your energy, no matter where you go, none of that influence can affect you. Only you can influence them to make an attempt to do better. I ain't forgotten about none of them that's running wild. You understand? But for me to be back over here so you can see what I'm doing, if you just take a minute and stop, you peep over every now and then, want to peep over. And then they say, what you doing? OG, what you doing? Then I show them, then they come out. You see? But I'm saying to them, I couldn't reach you, but maybe I can get your son. You know, your son ain't, because they don't want their son caught up in it. So they send their son and put their son in institution because the rules that applies to them, once they get in, most of the time they can't get out. That's what I be saying to mama. I'm sorry, mama, but he in too deep. He can't get out, mom. And then I can do about it. I can't even pray that often, mom. Huh?
But what about the ones that don't have them kind of ties? Like, and I'm gonna speak specifically like for the people I be around. Like they don't want better. They good with how shit is. You see what I'm saying? But do we just forget about like, is that fair like you spoke of earlier? You know what I'm saying? Is that fair to just lead them behind, you know what I'm saying? And don't, you know, even though, yeah, they damn near 40 or in their 40s, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't give them more time or realize that some people mature longer or we just leave them behind. Like, ain't that kind of like lame? Like,
What is it? What is it that they want? For an example, if you got a person like I got a cousin in New York, got a
they
house to
live
live in.
like we down here we call it living life on life terms. You heard me? Like they just taking it. I come like. They not really planning. They not really like they just here. You see what I'm
Think about
saying?
it.
And
Think,
you know,
think, think
mhm,
about it. Think about it. Think about it.
mhm.
Think about it. Think if you have accumulated everything you want in the world, what happens when you're gone?
They go to my kids.
If it's all structured right, it go to them. So some people just want to live life. Some people want to just be an employee and not an employer. Some people want to work for you and not own their own business. So you have to let them be. Some people are continuing. You ask that person that don't want, he don't want a house for himself. He rather live in on the streets. I got a cousin in New York. He rather live on the streets. Now he shave and shit shaving bays every day at a house, but he live on
Mhm.
the streets. He rather be on the streets where he feel like he more open and got more freedom, more free, and he hanging out with the people on the streets. And you understand that's just how he want to be. We went there several times to talk him out of it, but he said, "I'm happy." So damn, if that be the case, and here's a motherfucker fighting to be happy, and you say you happy with this small. You have to understand some people are content in their mindset. If they're happy, that's the question to ask. All of them that you got to mentor or hang around. Ask him if he's happy, he's comfortable, he's convenient, let him be.
Man, so I got a little partner. He is in his 30s, right? I ain't gonna put his name out there, but I do have to read him his mail. I do have to. This motherfucker could count $100,000 with his hands, with his eyes closed, right? But he can't read a lick. You know what I'm saying? And he don't give a fuck. You see what I'm saying? But don't you accept him for who he is?
That's correct. And continue to read his letters until you decide to teach him to read. And if he don't want to learn to read, then continue to read his letters because he trusts you to read them.
But
If
that's
you
like,
live, huh?
ain't that like, but ain't that like,
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, my brothers and sisters. Make all assumptions, make all types of discussions is to be made. This is what this is all about. Who have the solution? No. Um, other than the fact I said I had a solution, I'm talking about a solution to violence. But there's some other things that need solutions to, you know. Uh, and some of the things that need solutions to take time. Most people want the solution overnight. It don't come overnight, you know. With that being said, I'm gonna hold my peace and let this brother get back in there. I think that phone's heating up. I had the same problem out of mine, so I had to get another one. I don't have to conclude, y'all. Can I read this small writing? There's no. Well, I think we're gonna be done on that.